Welcome back to Mechanicus. We are currently just past the tutorial and I'm going to be talking about the main screen and some other stuff for a little bit before we jump into our first mission. So let's start at the top because we've got a bunch of stuff to go over. Most of it's not going to be terribly useful right off the bat, but there are a few things that we do want to actually dive into. And the first thing we want to talk about is at the top left, the Necron Awakening progress. When this hits 100%, we'll be tossed into the main battle, in the main boss battle of the game. You don't get an option. When it hits 100, that's what you're going to be doing. So we want to be able to complete as much as we possibly can before we get to 100%. And that's going to mean that we're going to need to complete as much as we can with the least awakening that we can. And I'll discuss how we're going to be doing that as we go, but just be aware that that is going to be something that kind of limits what you're going to be doing. Also, there are 58 deployments. I believe there are 58 deployments. And unless you're really, really good and able to get most of those at 0 awakening, you're going to not be able to do all of them. I think the boss battles, there are 5 of them. You're going to be walking away from those with at least 4 awakening a pop. So that's 20 awakening at the minimum. And that just makes things a little bit more difficult because you're going to have to complete everything else within a certain amount of time. Now, luckily, you don't have to. Most of this stuff is going to be support quests, which are useful, but not necessary to the game. Next to that, if we click on Fastidius here, we can see our mission progress. There's going to be a bar here, which is going to change over time. And it'll actually show you how much awakening you get per battle, as well as there are 6 sectors here, of which 2 we have located, and their awakening is in progress. When we do 3 missions in each of these, we will get something special that will unlock, and we're going to want to do those specific quests because they're important for later. On the left here, we have all the deployments. Only 2 of them are currently available, and we have 4 that are not. And if we click on the space bar, as I am on PC, you can see that there is another hidden deployment person, like a person that gives deployments in the noosphere. So just be aware that that is something that is there. On the left side of the top menu here, we have the tech. This isn't really important, but basically it's a list of what you've unlocked. We've got what weapons we've unlocked, what support pieces we've unlocked. These do a whole bunch of different things. What troops we have unlocked. Right now we only have the servitors, but we have a whole bunch. This isn't like what ships we've unlocked, but it's what other bonuses we've unlocked, including like new tech priests, cognition bonuses, that sort of thing. We've got our canticles as well, which are basically prayers that we can use once per deployment. Usually we can actually use them more than once later. And basically how to unlock them is listed underneath each thing, and we only have one right now, which is the Litany of Life, which restores 5 HP on the unit. We're going to want to leave battle with HP at full if we can, in order to protect our Blackstone, as well as just some other stuff. Like, it's important to do. On the right here, we have our cohort, which is essentially where our troops are and like what tech priests we have unlocked. And we've got 2 tech priests currently, as well as our servitors. If you hover over them, you can see what their skills are, what their hit points are, and what their attacks are. Now, the whole tech priest thing is actually reset once you go into right now. So these guys are not equipped with anything, which is important to note. So don't just jump into battles without equipping your guys. On the right here, we've got what our weapons and support stuff are. On the left, we've got the information for our tech priests. And right now we don't have any skills or anything, so we're going to want to unlock those. Also, there's like a log here, which will tell you all sorts of information about like how far they've traveled, how many times they've died. Nothing of real interest, to be honest, to us, but it's cool if you're looking for like just details on it. On the top here, though, is important. The augment capacity will determine how much we can actually augment our guys, because each item, if we hover over like this weapon here, includes a augment required. So you're going to want to increase that in order to have more weapons, more support, and whatnot. For right now, each of these just costs 1 augment, but later some of the weapons and support will cost all the way up to 3. I believe 3 is the max. And each of these weapons, you can see what they cost, what they do, like what the machine spirit does. Nothing really much to say except for there are 2 types of damage. There's physical and energy damage, so we want to have a little bit of both in our repertoire. So let's go ahead and jump into our disciplines first. There are 6 disciplines that we can give, and you're going to want to spread this out a little bit because each of these does specific things. Like the engine seer is really kind of like our healer, and if you hover over each of these, it'll tell you what each of these skills does. Now you have to pay Blackstone in order to unlock new disciplines, which is located under the next upgrade. This is how much it costs. Now the first 6 here are from the base game, and the Zenerite over here is from the DLC, which gives you some other stuff. If you don't have it, don't worry too much about it. I'm going to be focusing largely on these 6 because it's just a little bit easier to, like the DLC stuff gets to be an interesting thing. So we'll get there later. But I want to go ahead and start with the Dominus, which is ranged attack person. I think the Explorator is the melee attack, but the big thing here is if you hover over some of the bottom ones, like this one, if you don't have any melee weapon equipped, you get bonus to your damage, physical, energy, armor, and range. And we're going to want that for a couple of our tech priests because the ranged weapons are actually really, really good and allows you to maintain some level of protection so you don't have to get yourself owned. So let's go ahead and get the first skill here, which is what is it actually called? It's called Enhanced Weapons. It gives us +4 range for ranged weapons. It also increases our augment capacity to 2, but it does cost Blackstone. All right, so now we can equip some weapons and stuff, and I want to equip both the Phosphor Blast pistol, which does ranged damage, energy damage, and then I also want to get the Zenerite Macro Stubber, which does physical damage, but also gives us acid, which does extra damage over the course of 3 turns. And then I want to go to our other tech priest and do the exact same thing. This is going to be useful for the first few battles because we're going to be soft and squishy. So as you can see here, we only have 10 hit points. We don't have any protection from any sort of damage. So we are definitely soft and squishy, and that's going to be bad for us. And we're going to go ahead and jump into one of our first missions here, which is called the Killing Jar. This is for Scaevola. And it says, Tech Inquisitor Scaevola wishes to begin her research into the secrets of the Necrons and has asked for specimens of the enemy to be gathered from the tomb of Acropis. And we unlock 3 different things. We get Blackstone, we get the Omnispec, and the Arc Rifle. And these are somewhat randomized, just so you know. You may not have the exact same rewards for each of the battles that I do, which is simply because they're randomized. Keep aware that some of these weapons cost cognition to use, which can be a pain if you don't have a lot of cognition. So that's why I'm not jumping in and throwing, like, I think one of the weapons we had used 3 cognition to use. Not useful right now. At the bottom here, it shows the difficulty. This is easy, and we are only going to be facing Necron warriors and scarabs. Now, easy is kind of in quotes here because we are very soft and squishy as it is very early in the game, so we want to be as cautious as we possibly can. When you click on launch mission, you get thrown into basically our deployment screen. We're going to want to bring both of our tech priest with us, and then we're going to be bringing 4 servitors. Now the servitors cost 0 Blackstone to deploy, but once we unlock other troops, they will cost more. We don't have the other 4 tech priests, and at the bottom we can select our canticles. We don't have any outside the Litany of Life, which restores 5 HP on the active unit. Again, you can only use these once, and we may not want to use them because of this first battle, at least, because we can unlock other canticles if we don't use them. And we can also unlock other canticles if we do use them, so it is what it is. Tech Inquisitor Scaevola, I asked you on this mission because of your experience with surveying alien artifacts and organisms. And so the heretics of Styles 8 can plunder this world for its secrets. Your assertion equals false. If objection, concern, offense, go to different mission. As a reminder, Scaevola here wants to research the Necrons, while Videx is actually very religious and wants nothing to do with the alien technology, just destroy it. And they're gonna be doing this whole like thing the entire time. So just get ready for it. And leave you free to do as you will. A dereliction of logic, Scaevola. Macharian 16.4. Watch your brother, for his sin of heresy is thy sin of tolerance. Silva Tenebris evaluation commences. Wonders, opportunities, secrets. Rare chance for discovery, intelligence on Xenos. Must not fail to exploit. The logic of your enthusiasm eludes me, Tech Inquisitor. My emotional cores return only peril to our mission personnel and the threat of the awakening Xenos. Therefore, I am on this mission. My role, gather intelligence, seek truth, return to human comprehension. Dictates of Mars retrieval, gather knowledge for the good of all. And how are you to go about that, Scaevola? Field operations in person equals suboptimal. Sending tech priests instead equals optimal. First objective, gather field specimens for study. Location, Tomb of Ecropus. Commence immediately. I'm gonna screw that up a number of times. Just wait for it. Ecropus, there we go. I'll get it. Given the reports from the Tomb of Ecropus, there should be plenty of samples in there for you to collect, Magos. Of course, but first you have to kill them. My talents equals dissection after the fact. I leave the location, identification, execution for your tech priest, Magos. I trust this will be worth the effort, Scaevola. These are no mere labor servitors we are risking in these tombs. These are men and women, fellow devotees of the cult Mechanicus. Agreed, Valid point raised. Ensure human corpses are retrieved as well. Opportunity to study the effect of Necron technology on human flesh. I am 100% that is not what they meant. Alright, so we are trying to get here, and we want to do that the quickest way possible. Now the reason for that is because at the top left here we have the Tomb's Awakening level. Whatever number is in this little coffin part will be what gets added to the percentage towards that 100% level at the end of the battle. And two of these little, I don't know what to call these, like little pizza pieces will be filled per movement. So let's actually just go ahead and show this off. Commence enthusiasm, acquire at all costs. Alright, one of the Necron war forms remains after the rest of the fallen constructs teleport away. It fades in and out of reality as if it's about to disappear. So we can extrapolate, extract, or execute this little guy here. And now the events that happen are all pretty well set up and there are guides online. So if you're interested in looking at that, I think there's one on Steam or you can just Google it and there should be guides that have all the events already done for you. Now for this, basically the way it's set up is that execute will give us cognition points, extract will give us blackstone, and extrapolate will give us cognition points. I'm gonna go for extract. Shame was anticipating commencement of dismantling, dissection, experimental dismemberment of captive Xenos construct. Interim conclusion reached. Necrons possess fail-safe internal teleporters activate upon destruction. Indeed, Tech Inquisitor, I believe we could have concluded that without such risk to my tech priests. One of the cohorts takes the Necron by the arm to drag it towards the tomb entrance. The Necron's teleportation procedure is then completed and it vanishes, apart from the arm that the trooper was holding. Though not much compared to an entire Necron construct, the arm is to be taken back for study, and we get 42 Blackstone. Now, I want as much Blackstone as we possibly can because we're going to be wanting to upgrade our tech priests as much as possible. Alright, now that we've done that, we've got two pathways that looks like, but we're trying to go here. If I go this way, we'll only take 2 rooms in order to get here. So that's what we're going to do. It's extremely risky to explore entire tombs and up our awakening level unless you really know what you're doing, because you're going to want to complete a lot of these battles. Speculation. Tombs possess anonymous repair, defense, maintenance capabilities. Further study? Yes. Have some collected for me, Fastinius. The chamber ahead has suffered damage from the shifting of the landscape above. Several dozen tiny beetle-shaped constructs are scurrying about industriously as they repair the damage. Now we can acquire, ignore, or acquire more. And for this particular one, I'm looking at my notes. If we ignore, we will get additional awakening and lose some HP. If we acquire, we will gain cognition points, but if we acquire plus, we will get both cognition points and Blackstone. And then basically that means we're going to be acquiring a whole bunch of them. Conclusion commences. Scarabs not individual constructs, but resource of the tomb itself. Whole tomb is form of Necron construct. Commence formulation. Wondrous kaleidoscope of hypotheses. So for this we get 2 cognition points and 44 Blackstone. With some difficulty, the cohort lured a dozen or so scarabs into a specimen vault and crammed them inside, sealing the vessel. More scarabs swarm out of the previously unseen aperture, revealing that they must have a system of passageways throughout the tomb so they can be sent where needed. How cute. All right, the next thing we've got here is this little glyph symbol here. Now, glyphs are important because, well, I mean, yes, we have hit rank 1. Okay, we'll talk about this in a second. Let's do the glyphs first, please. All right, so we get 2 glyphs, and these are set, so I think no matter what you do, you get like the same, like whatever it says. So this glyph right here will give us a positive health boost towards one of our guys, which doesn't matter because we haven't taken any damage. And this one right here will give us Blackstone. Since these are set, you can kind of figure, like you can either like write down what the glyphs are so that you know what they are, or you can just Google it because there are some beautiful pictures out there that have everything done. Oh, I didn't read the thing. Sorry about that. A container of some sort that seemingly has raw binary seething within. Clearly it is of Xena's origin. Sparks of data leak through the age sealant used to contain the treasure within, and we get 42 Blackstone from that. All right, now I'm not going to explore the rest of the tomb because we've hit awakening level 1. Ooh, got a little bit of lag there for some bizarre reason. Whatever is on this will go into our awakening level, and I don't want that to go much further, so we're just gonna go straight into battle to face off against the Necrons. There's always a battle on the final place. Okay, so we need to kill all enemies here, and this battle has 2 Necron warriors to start with. Let's go ahead and plop one of my guys here, and I'm gonna plop the other guy here. Now there's one other thing that's going on here, and that's this cute little, well, you can't really tell what it is, but this is a panel, and it's got 5 hit points, and if we destroy it, we will lose 2 of the awakening. Now we're gonna be leaving with 1 awakening no matter what we do, but if we go ahead and knock that down, we'll be able to have a few more rounds, so we won't have to like leave with 2 awakening, because I don't really want to do that. Let's go ahead and bring 1 servitor. Now these servitors require 1 cognition point in order to flop down, so you can see it's flashing here. We're going to be using that, but I do want that. I'm going to go ahead and delay its turn. Now the servitors, I don't care if they take any damage, so whatever. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and grab the cognition here, and I want to head around the corner. I'm going to use the Zenerite macro stubber to do some physical damage on this guy. Actually, there's 2 things I need to do here. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and do some damage, but I also want to use the servo skull to check out what his statuses are. So he is strong against energy damage. So if we use this, we only do 0 to 1 points of damage, whereas it should do 1 to 2 points of damage. But we're gonna use it anyway because I would really, really like. Nope, not gonna do it. Okay. I'm gonna hide this guy right behind here, which should protect him from the Necron warriors. Okay, so this guy I can't quite reach. I thought this one had, whatever, it's fine. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna head over, stay away a little bit. We're gonna go here. And I'm gonna use the servo skull to check this guy out. More energy protection, that's fine. Now, one of my big goals here is to stay alive with the most hit points that I can, as that will be important toward the end of battle. Alright, so I'm gonna hold off on that for right now, so it looks like we're okay. Let's go ahead and delay the turn. I'm really hoping this guy doesn't hit us. Okay, but he does have that damage, the acid damage, which is really good. So I'm gonna send this tech priest over here, and he can actually touch this and get a 75 blackstone. Absolutely want that. Now this should kill this particular one. Beautiful. Now, once this one is dead, we can go ahead and actually use, I'm gonna use the blast pistol to attack that corpse. It's not really a corpse again. So we'll get additional cognition here. And go ahead and just hold off doing anything else. Now for this guy, I actually want to go ahead and target the panel that we just got everything from. Looks like we might take some damage here. That's fine. I think this guy might be able to hit this guy. Looks like that's a no. Okay, well I'm gonna go ahead and set the servitor around to start with. Let's go ahead and turns now. We've gone into 2, so they'll have extra Necrons in battle, which means we've got scarabs we have to deal with now. And it looks like there's the guy over here that is spawning, which will be a pain, but we actually should be okay. So let's go ahead and move our servitor forward. Let's go ahead and do some damage against this guy. Now this guy here, let's go ahead and figure out what this guy is weak to. Looks like he has no weaknesses. And I'm gonna head, actually let's go ahead and, oh, I don't have any cognition points, which is a problem, I have to tell you. It's like we can't do any damage to this guy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take out that. Now, we lose 2 awakening there, so he's a little bit better off. Let's go ahead and head around the corner. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Can this guy hit? Yes, he can. Looks like we're gonna be taking some damage. That's fine. Don't have to be happy about it. Now, the scarabs can heal, which is kind of a pain, but we'll get over it. This guy's out of range. Let's go ahead and move closer. I want to take out this Necron warrior if we can. So let's go ahead and focus on him. So when melee, when ranged people who are ranged move away from melee users, they will get an attack of opportunity, which will be great for us. Okay, this is a problem. Let's go ahead and move our servitor forward and go ahead and have him apparently crit that guy. Useful. Let's go ahead and use our machine spirit to see if we can't take out this guy. Not quite. Well, this should kill him off. So now we just have to deal with the scarabs, and we're going to want to deal with them as quickly as we possibly can, but I don't think we're going to be able to. Well, unfortunately, there goes our servitor, which is okay. We don't get any blackstone from them returning, so it's kind of a whatever situation for us. Now, one of the things we can do, because I don't do this very often at the beginning, is we can use the servo skull to actually draw cognition directly. So as you can see here, we got an extra cognition. Fantastic. I was hoping to not have to leave this battle with 2 awakening, but it looks like I'm not going to get a choice in the matter. We can bring a servitor in if we really want. I don't think we're gonna need it though. Well, let's just make sure Now what we want to do is take out this last little guy here. There it is. Two awakening isn't actually that bad, but I would have preferred if we could finish it with one. Circumstances evaluation confirmed disappointing. Necrons employ teleportation technology to achieve post-destruction discorporation. Interrogative, where do the remains go? Fascination intensifies. So it says upon destruction, the Necron constructs vanish, leaving no samples to be collected. And we've got three options here: abandon, analyze, or archive. The analyze will give us awakening and an STC fragment. If we archive, we will get an STC fragment. And if we abandon, we get Blackstone. I think here... Let's go ahead and archive, because I think the STC fragment will be most useful. Necrons employ teleportation technology and weaponry, calculating desire, live targets for evaluating effects of Gauss fire on human body, conjecture most illuminating. And from this, we get a refractor field generator, which absorbs 5 damage to allies. Cohort returns from the tomb frustrated by the lack of physical samples of Necron constructs. However, the data they have gathered on the phasing out of Necron remains is illuminating in itself. Valuable data present is greater than past. Totality of human knowledge increased. Mission conclusion positive. I cannot say I support your conclusions, Gavola. Beneficial conclusion itemization follows. Necron discorporation witnessed. Enemy constructs destroyed is less than 0. Necron combat performance evaluated. Chance of functioning Necron available for dissection increased. My emotional cores are returning sensations of frustration and resentment. I choose to acknowledge them. The lives of my tech priests are not there to be risked for the fulfillment of your desires, Tech Inquisitor. They are there to be risked for the acquisition of intelligence, learning, sacred knowledge. Your understanding equals approvable. Are you kidding me, Skibble? So at the end of battle, we get the unit debrief. So we lose 30 of our Blackstone because we took damage, unfortunately, but we killed some enemies, and so we get some of that Blackstone back. And we get some Blackstone from the end, along with how much Blackstone we earned during the mission itself. Where our awakening is at is currently 2% higher than what I wanted it to be, but that's fine. And basically some other stats. So if we exit out of here, you can see that the Blackstone is increased, and because we did not use a canticle, we get the Cant of the Craft, which will give us +3 physical damage, a bonus attack actually, which is kind of nice. So now that we've done that, you can see that our Necron Awakening has gone up, and now that we have a new deployment for Scaevola, if we're really interested in doing that. Let's go ahead and do a quick upgrade before we jump in though, and let's start by heading into, let's do Jeremiah first. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade the, let's see, Secutor. We're gonna go ahead and give them the Servant Servo Skull protocol. Now the reason I want to do that is because some of these in the later version, like some of these later ones, are actually really useful. So let's go ahead and I'm thinking about this because I do have this all worked out. There are some other ones that are actually really, really useful here. So let's actually pause on this and I'll rethink and make sure that that's what I want to do. But next time we're gonna go ahead and upgrade them and give them some new weapons. So I will see you guys then.